So we think there's real advantages from SaaS and true SaaS, and we recognise it's a journey to get there. So what we are seeing, and what we've seen a little bit of, is organisations who understand the value of SaaS, but perhaps are struggling to really get there, or have misunderstood what it means to get there. Maybe things like organisations that have moved to subscription and have lifted prior on-premise services and virtualised them and are claiming that that's SaaS. Well, we don't think that's really SaaS. We think that's a step probably in the right direction, but you're not going to get all the advantages and benefits of getting to true multi-tenancy SaaS platform.
So in a SaaS transition, it's often a big investment, right? And I think everyone has to be open and aware that it's going to take time. In all parts of the business, there are lots of people that have lots to learn usually, and there are many practices that has to change. That means for a period of time you have to invest less in what you maybe thought you were supposed to do, and more into actually changing these practices.
Quite often what we see is a perspective that is, this is about tech and R&D and those kind of things, and it absolutely is, but it's much, much wider, and I think that's where we see people not quite understanding sometimes, in that first and foremost it's a company mindset that needs to be adopted, needs to be supported from the top down, and needs to be committed to, because it's a transformational journey, it's not easy, there will be mistakes, there will be failures along the way, and what we think is it's really critical that the organisation as a whole recognises early what's required to really get to SaaS. So, how are you going to modify your compensation for sales? What needs to happen with your contracts and your T's and C's and SLAs? As much as what do you do with the technologies?
When it comes to pseudo-SaaS, I'm actually curious what percentage of those companies are pseudo-SaaS and kind of unaware, and what percentage is pseudo-SaaS just because they're in that transition. While you are in that pseudo-SaaS state, you are not really maximizing the benefits that these techniques, this architecture can give you. And if you are on the way there, if you're making the right investments and decisions, then hopefully you will get there. I guess the problem is if you're unaware.
For me, I think first and foremost there's benefits for the customer. And I think if you get SaaS right and you're really able to leverage the platform, what you should be able to know is what does the customer really need. I think then there's definitely revenue benefits, and I think there's numerous models that make that really clear. Data, I think, is a real benefit from a SaaS organisation. So that ability to get insight from the platform, to be able to respond quickly, to know what's going on, but as I said, to know what customers really need. I think data-driven elements become much more accessible and viable from a SaaS platform. Finally, I think there are internal efficiencies. So certainly if you get to true multi-tenancy, your ability to run more efficient, effective services, to deliver things faster, those kind of things absolutely are a benefit from a SaaS environment.
To enable a good SaaS transition process, I think one of the more important cultural things is to instill a culture of learning, to not be afraid of failure, and to use every and all opportunities to learn, and also share experiences both internally and externally to the company.
Foundational, I think, to any kind of transformation or even consideration of transformation to SaaS is why. What are you going to be able to do that's going to benefit the customer, or what are you responding to perhaps from a competitive situation? Be crystal clear what you're really trying to achieve, and then make sure that you've got the right level of understanding and planning and commitment to then execute upon it.